Caltech Summer Preview.
The thing I like best is mentoring the people who work for me. I think I do a pretty good job of getting the best out of everybody, or just about, and I take great satisfaction in seeing the people that study with me be successful and start their own careers. Of course, the questions we work on are also really exciting, and so like today I was working with one of my postdocs and we're revising a paper that we hope is going to get into print pretty soon, and that's always so much fun because you can just sort of see the results of your work, you know, in front of you on paper or at least online.
So I like the work we do in the lab, definitely, but I think what's most rewarding is the personal interaction that we have in our lab. So we are people from many different fields come together. My advisor, Professor Daviri, has actually made quite an effort in always making us interact outside the lab and inside, so that we're not only co-workers but also friends in that sense. I heard once a professor say that it's not what you do but the people you do it with, and I definitely agree with that.
I think both the collaboration and independence I get are really fulfilling, because having worked on this project since the beginning of my sophomore year, I know a lot about it already, and I really get to let it go in the direction that I want it to go. But at the same time, whenever I have questions, whenever, you know, I get stuck, there's always so many people that I can bounce ideas off of and ask questions to, who are always more than happy to help. So there's a really great balance of being able to direct the project myself and turn to other people for help.
Really, I love the work. I love that I get to do something that could potentially have impact. I study cancer, and I really love my lab. It's a really collaborative place, a very supportive place. Caltech is a really great place to do science.
My work is very fulfilling to me because it's really cool to see something that I made with my own hands actually work, and to see it being applied to something that has a really big impact. Like, for example, my summer project this year and last summer is something that might go to Mars one day. And that's just crazy to me, especially because I want to become an astronaut. That's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So it's really exciting to see your work, you know, come to fruition.
I was really surprised by, when I was an undergrad, is that you could start doing research even at, you know, sophomore year, and they could give you a project to do where nobody actually had figured out the answer yet. And so you could make some contribution to the body of knowledge of science, even though you didn't feel like you really knew very much, you know, like you didn't have to study for like 8 or 10 years after, you know, high school to join some huge lab group and like make a contribution. You could actually do something fundamental as an undergrad, and that I really liked. I think that's still true in a lot of these STEM fields, that there's just so much to discover, and there's many ways to help humanity by doing it.
Don't be afraid to try new things. I think that a lot of people come in thinking that, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or I don't know what I'm doing, and you know, it's a great thing to explore and try new things, and you know, doing research or learning about other people's research and taking cool classes is a great way to explore that. So keep an open mind and love what you're doing, because that's the most important thing for the future.
What helped me a lot was actually having a supportive partner, a supportive husband in my case, because eventually, you know, we have 2 kids, and like, you know, I still wanted to go do field work, and so my husband luckily was like completely supportive of my career, and I know that doesn't always happen. So I think it does take a community to raise kids, and the more supportive people you have in your family, whether it's your parents or your spouse or your you know, sisters and brothers or whoever, that is a big thing that's turns out to be really important.
So whenever you go to college, there would be subjects you will dislike, obviously. I would say I won't need that in the future, so I would just pass the subject or make my best effort, but I wouldn't really learn it. And now when I'm in my PhD, I had to learn those things again, and what I would tell my younger self would be, learn those things, make your biggest effort, even if you don't like them, they will be useful in the future.
Ask people for help, ask questions. When I started working in a lab, I felt so much pressure to like prove myself and prove that I could do it all on my own. And really that's not what science is about. It's all about asking questions and collaboration. So if you don't know something, Like, don't be embarrassed about it, just ask.
Definitely support each other. Unfortunately, it's still true that it is harder even today to be a woman in science, and it gets much easier if you have a strong network of women to look up to, and also to have look up to you.
Always do what you like doing, and don't do what other people want you to do. Science is not easy, and you have to find your inner motivation. You never want to do something because your teachers tell you to do it, or because your mom and dad tell you to do it. People are always trying to plan their lives out at every step of the way. This is one of the things I see in the younger generation. Don't plan. Just do what you like at the time, and that will usually carry you forward to the next step. I think people worry too much about their future and carving out exactly the right road. I've found that life is pretty much a random walk, and just make sure you're walking in a direction that keeps you happy.
What I always have to say with the TV interviews is, we can't predict earthquakes, so be safe. Be prepared. It's like the standard thing, duck cover and hold on.